Hannibal was born in 247 BC in the bustling, sun-drenched city of Carthage on the northern coast of Africa in what is now modern Tunisia. Carthage was a powerful Phoenician trading empire, its influence stretching across the western Mediterranean. Its wealth came from massive fleets, thriving trade networks and colonies that extended into Africa, Spain, and parts of Sicily. Yet beneath the city's splendor, tensions brewed. Rome, a growing republic, had begun to rival Carthage for dominance, and whispers of impending conflict echoed through the city streets. Hannibal's father, Hannibal Barca, was a brilliant general, renowned for both his courage and cunning during the First Punic War. Hamilcar's victories and losses shaped Hannibal's earliest understanding of warfare, honor, and sacrifice. Carthage had suffered the humiliation of losing Sicily to Rome, and its citizens burned with a desire for revenge. Hannibal's childhood was steeped in stories of Carthaginian valor, noble defeats, and the courage required to confront a world dominated by enemies. At the tender age of 9, Hannibal's father took him to the temple of Baal Hanno, the chief deity of Carthage. Amid flickering torches and the scent of burning incense, Hamilcar made his young son swear a vow that would define his life. Swear, Hannibal, that you will never be a friend to Rome, that you will oppose it all your life. Hannibal's small hand grasped his father's, his eyes burning with a fierce determination, and he repeated the oath. That moment was more than a promise. It was a spark that would ignite a lifetime of brilliance, courage, and audacity. Hannibal grew under the careful tutelage of Hamilcar, learning the arts of war, strategy, and leadership. He accompanied his father on campaigns in Spain, observing the meticulous organization of armies, the challenges of supply lines across hostile lands, and the subtle psychology of allies and enemies alike. These early experiences forged a mind that would one day outthink the mightiest empire in the ancient world. Hannibal's adolescence was spent navigating the rugged hills and fertile valleys of Hispania, where Carthage had established thriving colonies. Here, he learned the art of war firsthand, how to ride horses across steep terrain, how to coordinate infantry and cavalry, and how to exploit the landscape in battle. Unlike many leaders of his era, Hannibal was never content to direct from a distance. He shared the hardships of his soldiers sleeping under the stars, eating the same sparse rations and enduring storms alongside his men. This earned him a loyalty that would become legendary. By his late 20s, Hannibal had gained the full trust of Carthaginian generals and soldiers alike. Following the death of Hamilcar in battle, his older brothers carried on their father's campaigns. But it was Hannibal who would ultimately assume command of the Carthaginian forces in Spain. He swiftly demonstrated tactical genius, capturing cities, forging alliances with local tribes, and molding a diverse army of Africans, Iberians, and mercenaries into a disciplined fighting force. Hannibal understood Rome as few others did. He studied the Republic's armies, their discipline, their politics, and their expansionist ambitions. He saw that to defeat Rome, one had to strike at its heart, not just its peripheries. Its realization fueled his audacious plan to invade Italy directly and confront Rome on its home ground. Hannibal's plan was bold and unprecedented. Rather than cross the Mediterranean by sea, where Roman fleets could intercept him, he chose to march his army over the Alps, a feat no general had attempted with tens of thousands of men and 37 war elephants. The campaign began in 218 BC. Hannibal led roughly 50,000 soldiers, 9,000 cavalry, and elephants through harsh terrain, blizzards, icy cliffs, and hostile mountain tribes. Starvation, avalanches, and freezing weather claimed thousands of men and animals along the way. Yet, Hannibal pressed forward, embodying the very courage he had absorbed as a child. Soldiers recounted legends of Hannibal riding at the front lines, scouting treacherous passes, rallying his men, and showing no fear of death. 4 weeks. The army labored through snow and rock, and by the time they descended into northern Italy, nearly half the force had perished. Yet Hannibal had achieved the impossible. News of his arrival struck terror in Rome, and African general with elephants no less had appeared on their doorstep, a living symbol of power and defiance. Despite his battlefield brilliance, Hannibal faced immense political obstacles. Carthage sent limited reinforcements, rival generals undermined his campaigns, and Rome adapted to his strategies. The Romans employed Fabian tactics, avoiding direct battles while severing his supply lines. Still, Hannibal's victories inspired allies, cowed enemies, and sustained loyalty among his men. Across the Mediterranean, his reputation as a fearless African general and brilliant strategist grew. For years, Hannibal symbolized hope for Carthage and fear for Rome. By 203 BC, Roman general Scipio Africanus carried the fight to Carthage. Hannibal was recalled from Italy to defend his homeland. At Zama, the culmination of decades of conflict, Hannibal faced a man who had studied his strategies and learned from his victories. The battle was monumental. Elephants charged, cavalry clashed, and thousands of soldiers fell. Despite Hannibal's genius and valor, Scipio's strategic adaptations and reinforcements tipped the balance. Hannibal suffered his first true defeat, and Carthage was forced to surrender. His dream of defeating Rome remained unfulfilled. Hannibal spent his remaining years in exile, advising foreign kings, evading Roman pursuit, and witnessing the shifting balance of power he had once tried to overturn. Around 183 BC, he chose to end his life by poison. Imagine man who had shaped history but never fully realized his oath. Hannibal Barca is remembered as one of the greatest military minds in history. His strategies remain a cornerstone in military education worldwide. Beyond tactics, he symbolizes courage, ingenuity, and unyielding determination. An African general who dared to challenge the mightiest empire of the ancient world. Hannibal, the boy who swore an oath in a Carthaginian temple, grew to shake the foundations of Rome and left a legacy that echoes through time. And that was the end of the legend. Please like and subscribe.